Hello Bandy fans, we are back with another review. This is the Crash Bandicoot 4 Head Start Wave 1 Coco Bandicoot figure. As you can see, I've got two here. This one will be left in pristine condition for my boxed collection, and this one we're going to open today. You can see that Coco here on the right of the screen is the Canadian version. It has the French language there, and you can see the one on the left hand side is the Australian version, which only has the English language on it. If we spin them around, you can see there are two languages on this one, so it's kind of doubled up. Everything's a little bit bigger, and on this one there's only one language. There we go. So let's use the more beautiful box. You can see here it says Coco with Capuna mask, and there is Capuna right there. Exclusive mask and stand, and for Coco the mask and stand is at the bottom. She looks really cute in this box. She has a huge what do you even call that? Fringe at the front. Her ponytail is actually smaller than her fringe in this design, which is interesting. So the box says ages 5+, choking hazard, small parts not suitable for children under 3, Crash Bandicoot. It says Wave 1, so hopefully that means that there will be a Wave 2 coming along. You've got the Head Start logo down here, and then 11 points of articulation, which is much more than her Resaurus counterpart, which only has about 5, I think. Coco with Capuna mask. And then you've got for some reason the Insane Trilogy Crash. Luckily on the back they do have the Crash 4 Crash, so I'm not really sure why they went with that design, unless it's their kind of official marketing logo, if you know what I mean. Anyway, on the back we can see the other figures. If you are interested in the other figures, I have also reviewed all of them, and they will be on the channel as well, so check the description below to see those. And then we have some more information about, you know, the company, the barcode, all of that good stuff. Kind of a simple box. Now, my loose Coco Bandicoot figure is still all the way in England, but I can, however, show you the Resaurus Coco Bandicoot compared to the Head Start ones, and we are going to have to change the angle for this. Okay, so it just about fits in. You can't really see the top of the box for Coco here, but you can see she's much, much bigger. Unlike the Cortex figure, the Head Start Coco is actually much smaller than the Resaurus Coco. And of course the Resaurus box is absolutely huge. One thing Resaurus did, which was amazing, is give us so many accessories, whereas these figures only come with one of the masks. It makes me wonder, who will come with Lani Loli? Will it be Torna? I thought if they were going to give a mask to Coco, it would make sense to have Lani Loli, because her and Crash are the two main characters, and Lani Loli spends a lot of time with Coco and Crash, so wouldn't it make sense to have him in there instead of Capuna? Maybe Capuna could have gone with, you know, Torna or someone like that. It would have been nice to also have seen Coco's iPad that she has. You can see Resaurus included Coco's laptop, so it would have been nice for Coco to have her iPad, seeing as it's the something she interacts with all the time. But then saying that, Crash doesn't have a Wumpa Fruit, Cortex doesn't have a ray gun. I wonder what accessories the Series 2 figures will have. Will Entropy have his tuning fork, which is kind of essential to him? Will Torna have a rope, or will she have Lani Loli? Will N.Gin have his jetpack? Will Dingodile have his leaf blower? I'm just not sure, but I can't wait to see what comes out in Wave 2. Let's get rid of Resaurus Coco for now, and let's get this open and start reviewing the figure itself. Okay, so like with all the other figures, I'm going to try... Oh, actually, I'll give you a little look at the French version as well, the Canadian version. Just a little overview so you can kind of see what these ones look like with the French. The reason I'm opening this one is because there's a little bit of a paint mistake here. A couple of paint mistakes all over the body, whereas this one's a little bit more beautiful. It doesn't have anything to do with the language, because my Biker Crash, the boxed one, is actually the Canadian version. They're just a little bit hit and miss with the quality because they're so cheap. I actually got all 10 of these figures because I got 2 of each of all the 5 characters. I got all 10 of them for cheaper than you can get one Resaurus figure, so that just tells you anything. Like with all the boxes, I try and open them on a hinge so that they could be resealed. Not that I plan on keeping these open boxes, because I actually I already have a boxed version, so it's not that necessary for me. But if you guys want to open the box and keep them, I recommend opening it on a hinge like that. And then Coco can neatly pull out, and you can see her silhouette with Capuna's silhouette as well. And this is how she looks out of the package. Very nice. Capuna's only held in with one strap. Unfortunately, I can't find a way to take these off without cutting them, so they're very difficult to put back in their box once you've opened them. The stand is at the bottom. Let's open that first. We can get that ready for Capuna. Okay, so you get a little stand, which is kind of like a little disc, and then you get this rod, which is kind of like an L shape. It has a little key on the bottom, so you have to get the right shape for the stand to work. And there it is, ready for Capuna. Now to open this, we're going to have to take some scissors, snip, and hopefully just push Capuna out. Let's take a look at her first. You can see, unfortunately, the branding and all that rubbish on the back. She's actually hollow inside, which is different to the other masks, which are all solid. And she does have some nice dimensionality to her. Unfortunately, Uka Uka and Aku Aku are really, really flat, which just makes them very sort of lackluster. But yeah, she looks really good, and she's really shiny, really gold. Look how happy she is. So cute. So again, we just pop this in the back. And there we go. She's on the stand, and that's probably how she will stay. Hopefully she stands, and she does. Good balancing. Okay. Now let's get Coco out herself. She only has 2 holding her in, which is much better than all of the Crash and Coco, which is much better than Crash and Cortex. And here she is. Unfortunately, like the others, she also has really loose limbs. She's actually really nice. Her limbs are a lot chunkier than the other guys, except for her shoulders. Her shoulders are really small. Her forearms are really big. I don't think I like that design very much. The fat forearms on Coco, it kind of looks strange. Coco may be the figure with the most articulation, or the biggest range. Cortex is hindered by his shoulder pads. Crash, his hands don't move from the A pose. But Coco seems to be able to sort of touch her head. She can also seemingly touch her leg. So actually she has pretty good range. I don't know why they couldn't have done this with Crash. Okay, she's really cute. Now the Rhesaurus Coco, the hair moves. This Coco, the hair doesn't really move. Can it move? Oh, it can a little bit. That'll be nice for animation. You know, she runs and her hair's swaying as she runs and then kind of wiggles. She has a head articulation. It's nice that the head is not the neck pushed into the body, but it's actually the other way around. The neck is more solid and the head is pushed on. That's always a much safer option with these kinds of figures. Yep, she's really sweet. You can see these horrible paint mistakes on her though, which is a little bit annoying. Let's take a look at the articulation. Her arms go up and down. They also rotate. You can see the terrible paint job they've done. The reason I decided to open the uglier figures is because I can touch them up with paint no problem. I'll just put a little bit of white paint on there. Okay, yeah, so she also has a swivel at the elbow, and she has a bend at the elbow, which goes one way mostly. She has a swivel at the wrist. Her hands are kind of creepy though. Look at those little... Crash was wearing gloves, so they weren't that creepy, but her hands are a little bit creepy. You can see her little wristband there. It's all nicely sculpted. Her belt's also nicely sculpted. She has no waist articulation, but her legs do go up to some extent, hindered by this belt. And her knees do bend. Do they swivel? Oh, yep, they swivel at the knee as well. No foot articulation. But I do like how her trousers are sculpted. Her dungarees are sculpted to kind of... You know, they're rolled up, but they're kind of like laid over the back. I mean, this is basically just how she looks in the game. It's really perfect. Unlike the Rhesaurus figures, which were an interpretation of what the characters look like, this is like pretty much exactly what she looks like in the game. You can see she's got her 2 little pouches back there. And yeah, her face is very simple, but it's cute. She's got more paint in her ear than Crash does, and her goggles do go underneath her hair, which is a separate piece kind of glued in. Her face is very simple paint, but it's vibrant and nice. Her nose is actually, I don't know if it will focus, but her nose is actually sculpted a little bit bigger than what they've actually painted on. They've only painted a little bit on her nose, but the actual sculpt for the nose is much bigger. And if you take a look at the box, the original render of her has her with quite a big nose compared to the nose that we got in the end. Okay, so here we have the unboxed figure with Capuna, the Capuna one mask. I just realised something very strange. I mean, I've been playing the Japanese version of the game mainly, so I thought her name was Capunawa, but this box only says Capuna. So I thought, oh, maybe only in Japan they call her Capunawa. So I was calling her Capuna through this video. But the actual original release has it written Capunawa. So I don't understand why the English version has removed that wa. It literally just says Capuna mask. How many more name mistakes can this company make? They're called Cortex Dr. Neo. Okay, well, seeing as there's a mistake there, this variant has become more interesting. So I think I will keep this box, just like I did the Biker Crash box. Yeah, very peculiar. Anyway, here's the figure in all her glory. She's very sweet. She's very cute. Really lovely, so I really recommend picking this up. If you love Coco or if you love Crash Bandicoot, this is a great figure to get. Much cheaper than the Resaurus figure, much more readily available, and I guess to some extent a lot cuter than the Resaurus look. Obviously they're completely different eras, so if you prefer the classic Coco, you should definitely go for that. But yeah, this is not a bad figure at all, and the new range of Articulation really inspires me to make some animations, so maybe we'll do like a multiverse crossover where you get to see, you know, the Resaurus figures and the Head Start figures sort of interact together. Wouldn't that be interesting? Well, I hope you've enjoyed this review for what it was. I'm really looking forward to kind of animating these, and I really hope that Wave 2 comes out. If you're not interested that much in Wave 1, but you want an Entropy Dingodile N.Gin figure, just go ahead and pick up these figures. They're super cheap, they're like $10 each. I mean, maybe my idea of cheap figures is kind of warped because my whole life I've been collecting Resaurus figures which always cost more than £100. But these are really cheap, I think, so just pick them up, support the line, and hopefully we'll get Wave 2. As I said before, please check the description because we'll be reviewing all of the other figures as well. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Take care, and please like, comment, and subscribe.